let's talk about source music, not scored stuff, but songs. A lot of the big budget pictures use songs from big budget artists, famous artists, because that's a draw to the movie. If there's music in the movie from the Rolling Stones or Matchbox 20, these are big names that might add a certain amount of cachet to the film. Do unknown artists or songs from unknown writers, either artists or writers, do either of those ever make it into big budget pictures?
Absolutely.
How does that typically happen? Other than sending stuff, please, people who are watching this, don't try and send stuff to Harry, because he told me during lunch they just don't have the capacity to listen to unsolicited material. Yes.
You want to take a view of my desk?
Yes.
These are all unlistened to.
Here's Harry's.
This is my inbox.
And this is the stuff just from the people that you know within the industry.
Just today.
Just today.
It's clean every morning.
Wow. Okay. So yeah. So how does that kid in Peoria, who's really talented, that might even be a Taxi member, how do they get their song in a major motion picture versus maybe a TV show or an indie film?
Well, you got to get it out there for people to listen to somehow. And if you're a Taxi member, then you've got a way.
Cool. I didn't pay him to say that, by the way.
but you've got to find ways to get it out there. I mean, I mean, a lot of those songs, I mean, from my point of view, a lot of them happen by accident because somebody's got a record, somebody's trying it. People, editors or who knows, hey, could you try this? You put it up to the picture about, no, it doesn't work, this doesn't work. It could be hundreds of songs they try, and if your record's laying around somewhere, or your recordings are laying around, it has a chance. If it's not anywhere, then it doesn't really have a chance.
I know that the directors typically make the final decision on which music goes in, with music supervisors having a lot of input in putting stuff under the directors' noses and temping it into the films. I've also seen many examples where music editors literally have stuff laying around their desk, much like you do here today. And a music editor might have a hole to fill in a movie and temp something in. Is it a good idea for the so-called great unwashed out there, if they have any connection to music editor, to get the music in their hands?
Yes, music editors are a really good source because they're physically dealing with, the movie goes through, right away, as soon as the film comes in and they start cutting it together, and either the editor or the music editor is throwing music in, temp music, and if some of it sticks and makes it through, and, oh, I like that, what is that, where'd you get that? I don't know, I just had this sitting around. A lot of stuff ends up that way. So,
what might that kid from Peoria who gets a song, let's say he owns the master and wrote the song, and it's his garage band in Peoria, and somehow it gets to you guys, either through us or through a friend of a friend. By the way, I should mention I actually met Harry through one of the kids that works on my staff. His parents are really good friends with Harry, and that's how we ended up having lunch today. So there's a lot to be said for who you hang out with and who you know. If they do get something in a major motion picture, a blockbuster, just a film that's going to do a couple $100 million in a summer, what might they expect to make from that?
That could be anything. It could be all over the place. You get a license fee.
Yeah.
That's it, and then if you're the publisher, you're going to get performance royalties when the movie goes to TV.
Is it a fair statement to say that somewhere in the $2,000 to $20,000 range, depending?
The $2?
No, $2,000 to $20,000 range, all in. I mean, including the performance money.
Depending on the budget of the film. Now, if it's a really low budget, I've seen really low budget films where there's no budget. I mean, it's almost for free. Some people will do it for, just let their stuff be in because they get performance or the exposure. We don't do that, but I've seen it done.
Harry's really kind of a fascinating guy in that he is really one of you guys. He's a musician, he's a writer. Do you have any encouraging words for people who are basically you at 18 or 20 or 25 years old? What is it that...
Don't eat so much.
What can they do to move their careers forward?
I think it's just to keep growing and to keep experimenting. Having people listen to your music. Don't be afraid. Try not to be afraid. and keep being creative, and meet new people, and do your music. I mean, it's the time, you can go in so many paths as a musician. I mean, you can end up on the road, you can end up playing clubs, so many different ways to make a living. But if you're writing, you want to write, and you want to, the film music and TV music is good because people pay you to write for a fee, and you're writing, or if your music just gets licensed for one of these things, it's kind of a little bit more accidental. I don't think you can plan that out. If you have people working for you that are out getting your stuff distributed around, or you're doing it yourself, that's an accident. That could happen. Something like some song you can't ever tell. I wrote songs since I was a kid, and all of a sudden somebody calls me about something I can't even remember. And they want to use it in this, and and I'm wondering, how did they find out about that song? How did they even know about that? So I think that's how licensing works. But as far as actually doing it, writing for hire, when somebody hires you to, that's systematically something you can work on, but first you have to develop the skill of how to do it to picture. You have to understand how your background, you're supporting the thing, and then you got to get people to listen to you. And if you need to write for free or whatever to give somebody that they like you, and then they want to use you in something and you make some money, that's it. I mean, people, start music because they love music. They don't start it because they want to make money. And then, from loving something, you're usually good at it, and that means you're usually going to make money from it if you can stay in love.
Yeah.
Once you fall out of love and you're just doing it for the money, then you stop being as valuable.
That's great advice. Well, I'm going to let you go to your meeting, and thank you for taking 13 minutes and 29 seconds with us today, Harry. It's really been a pleasure, and I hope that our viewers get a lot out of this. Thank you.
Thank you.